Show you the difference between subtraction and the divide feature in the modify panel. Say you want this Tinkerbell cut out of your image and you want to see it as appear that way, and you're making a mock-up. So what you're going to do if you only have a couple of items is select both items, come over to your panel, modify panel, click it, and just hit subtract. And that will pull that shape out of your circle so that now it creates a cut line that you can see through. So the Tinkerbell would be made up of the shirt. Now sometimes when you have multiple parts to an image like you do here, and you try to do that, so I'm going to select all of it, and I'm going to come up here and hit subtract just to show you what happens. But it will randomly remove parts of the image that you don't remove, like your entire circle. So obviously that doesn't work. There's another way to go around doing it if that happens. So I'm just going to go back so that I again have my full image. So if that happens, you can go over and you can hit the divide button. This is going to divide up every little portion of the image and cut it away. So it takes it just a minute. So that what you are left with are a whole lot of pieces to a whole. Now, in order to just pull that Tinkerbell in the easiest way possible, leave all of that selected, press your shift bar, and deselect the big pieces of your image. So all of your little bar lines need to be deselected so that when you actually pull this away, you will keep your image. And there may be small pieces that weren't connected, like on both sides of that light pink I had to deselect. On both sides of this purple I will, because the Tinkerbell is cut out of that. On the bottom one I won't have to because she doesn't cut the image in half. So now the only thing that I have selected will be just the box around her. So, and I can kind of see where that is. And if I zoom in, you can too. So it's only Tinkerbell selected. So I'm going to click on her and just drag her away. So now she's a cutout piece out of all of these different colors. Now because I did that, this side of the purple, as you can see in point editing mode, and this side are two different images. So you're going to want to select both of those sides, right click, and hit group. So that when you move them to cut, it's one piece that you're piecing together versus two sides, which is a lot harder to line up. Same happened with this pink. I now have two separate halves. So I'm going to select both and group them so that each of these can pull away separately as one unit and be cut. And then when you line them up on the shirt, it's a lot easier than if you had the image cut in 16 different pieces versus 4, 6, 8, however many you have, however many lines you have in your image. And I'm just going to group them. So this one actually stayed one piece with just a small part of her wing cut out, so that wouldn't have to be grouped. But anything that actually gets cut in half by your image still needs to be grouped. But now you have 4, 5 separate colors that can be moved and printed, and then you can place on your shirt, leaving the cutout parts as your shirt showing through. So that it ends up being, depending on how many rectangles you put in the image, like this, with the Lion King cut out and showing through. And to test that it all worked out, I just go over, click draw rectangle, and then I draw a rectangle in behind my image. So you go over and you're going to color it. I usually do mine gray as if it were a gray t-shirt. So right now it's on top of the image, so you're just going to click on it, right click, and tell it to send this gray box to the back. When you do that, you can see what the shirt would look like showing through your entire design. And I'll zoom in so that you can see that. So you have the gray shirt showing through all of your lines, and that's what makes up the lion, the Timon, and the Pumbaa.